Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. If you've been following Hallmark regular Paul Greene for any amount of time, then you already know he has a special charm that's equal parts heartwarming, energetic, and just a little mischievous. But even longtime fans weren't expecting his latest video to take such an amusing turn. Because this time, Paul isn't talking about movies, music, or life updates. Instead, he launches into a surprisingly passionate, hilarious mini-rant about a moose. Yes, a moose. And somehow, it's one of the most entertaining things he's posted in a while. The moment the video begins, you can tell Paul is clearly amused and slightly baffled by whatever just happened to him. He starts off casually, as if everything is normal, and then suddenly he goes into full storytelling mode, explaining how this one huge, calm, but very unbothered moose managed to completely take over his day. You can almost hear him trying to decide whether he should be annoyed, impressed, or just grateful he made it out without becoming the star of a wildlife documentary. He describes this moose with such dramatic emphasis that it's impossible not to laugh. He talks about how massive it was, how it moved with the confidence of someone who owns the entire neighborhood, and how it stared at him like he was the one invading its space. The way Paul tells it, the moose wasn't just an animal minding its business. It was a full-on personality, and Paul was clearly the supporting character in its story. As he continues, Paul gets increasingly animated, waving his hands and reenacting the moose's glare, the way it strutted across the road, and the moment he realized that reasoning with wildlife is not one of his strengths. What makes it even funnier is how much he commits to the storytelling. He isn't just describing an encounter, he's performing it. His voice shifts, his expressions get bigger, and every detail becomes more dramatic than the last, almost like he's reliving the moment all over again. But the true highlight comes when he starts questioning the moose's behavior, like it's a rude neighbor who borrowed his lawnmower and never returned it. He jokingly asks why the moose had the audacity to block the road, as if he had somewhere more important to be. He even wonders aloud whether moose understand traffic rules or basic courtesy. It's absurd, but the sincerity in his voice makes it 10 times funnier. And then comes the part where Paul goes from mildly irritated to fully invested in the idea that this moose has a personal agenda against him. He starts breaking down its posture, its attitude, the slow, deliberate way it walked in front of his car like it had all the time in the world. According to Paul, this wasn't just wildlife acting like wildlife. This was a moose who knew exactly what it was doing and chose to do it anyway. Of course, he's laughing through the whole rant, and that's what makes it so entertaining. Paul doesn't take himself too seriously, and he doesn't turn the situation into anything dramatic or scary. Instead, he transforms a random wildlife encounter into a comedy segment, reminding everyone exactly why fans love him. He can find humor in anything, even a 1,000-pound animal strolling across his path like it's modeling for a nature magazine. Throughout the video, Paul keeps circling back to one idea. Why is it that animals, especially big ones, seem to know when you're in a hurry? He jokes that the moose could have crossed the road all morning, but no, of course it picked the exact moment he needed to get somewhere. This kind of everyday frustration mixed with pure disbelief makes the rant strangely relatable, even if most of us have never had a close-up confrontation with an animal taller than a car. Then Paul shifts into reflecting on how surreal the whole moment felt. He describes staring at the moose staring back, and both of them silently acknowledging that Paul was completely powerless in the situation. He even pokes fun at himself for being so fascinated and slightly terrified at the same time, admitting that no matter how many Hallmark heroes he's played, there's no script that prepares you for a moose with attitude. What really stands out is how much Paul clearly enjoys telling the story. He's laughing at his own reactions, making fun of how he froze when the moose turned its head, and emphasizing how he tried to remain calm, even though he knew the moose could end his day with one gentle nudge. His self-deprecating humor is spot on, and his playful tone keeps the whole video light and fun. The more he talks, the more it becomes obvious that this wasn't just a random encounter for him. It was a full experience, something he couldn't wait to share because it was just too bizarre to keep to himself. And his excitement makes viewers feel like they're right there with him, watching this giant creature wander around like it's on a casual morning stroll. At one point, Paul even pauses mid-sentence, shakes his head, and laughs like he still can't believe this happened. That moment feels completely authentic. It shows that, for all the acting he does on screen, his real-life personality is just as engaging and expressive. He doesn't hide his feelings, and he doesn't hold back from letting the moment be as ridiculous as it truly was. Paul starts imagining what the moose might have been thinking. He gives it a voice, joking that the moose probably looked at him and thought, "Relax, human, I'm doing my morning walk." The way he delivers it makes it sound like he's had this conversation with the moose a dozen times in his head, and now he's letting the rest of us in on the joke. Fans in the comments immediately picked up on how funny and unexpectedly charming the whole thing was. They loved that Paul, who's known for his calm, warm Hallmark roles, could turn into a full storyteller over a surprise encounter with wildlife. Many viewers said they were laughing out loud. Others shared their own stories of moose, deer, or other animals that behaved like they owned the place. It became one of those videos that brings people together simply because everyone has experienced a moment where nature reminded us that we're not really in charge. Toward the end of the video, Paul wraps up his rant with a playful sigh, admitting that the moose won the encounter. He jokes that the moose didn't care about his schedule, didn't care about his car, and definitely didn't care about the rules of the road. It just moved along at its own pace, living its best life, completely unaffected by Paul's attempts to negotiate. And after all the laughter, he ends with a bit of sincerity, acknowledging how wild and wonderful it is to live in a place where you encounter animals like that. He seems genuinely grateful, even if the moose caused a minor traffic crisis for a few minutes. That warm final touch brings everything full circle. A hilarious rant, a funny moment, and a reminder of why Paul's fans keep coming back. His stories always have humor, heart, and a little dose of real life mixed in. Paul Greene didn't set out to create a viral wildlife comedy moment, but that's exactly what happened. His playful frustration, animated storytelling, and unexpected focus on a moose of all things turned a simple encounter into a must-watch video. And if this is the kind of energy he's bringing into his everyday content, fans can definitely expect more entertaining moments ahead, hopefully with fewer moose blocking the road. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.